And while she's doing it, everyone, she's going to give, bring this, get excited. Now's the time. Make sure you got something to write with while she's getting this all pulled up and everything. And hey, let's get ready. All right, back over to you.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. I shared with you earlier my story, and I'm going to kind of go into a little bit more information, but this training today that I'm going to do with you is actually going to teach you my system, and I'm going to teach you how to sell a lot of memberships just from the comfort of your own home. And as Mr. Muhammad said, I hit platinum in February with 4,200 plus in personal premium. So far for the year, I've closed out about 11,000 in personal premium. These are network memberships, so that, I'm really coming in to teach you what it is that we're doing. Am I echoing, Corey? Am I good? If you want to give me a thumbs up on text,
turn your volume down, Mr. Muhammad, turn your volume down.
All right.
Do I need to turn my volume down?
No,
Are we good?
Corey does. Go ahead, Jason.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Peden. All right. So I'm really excited. I love to see people win. So I'm really excited to be able to share my system with you because, number one, I do believe that so many people right now need just our membership. They need our opportunity as well, but they also need our membership. And so this is going to give you a system that's really simple, and regardless of your background, whether you're a seasoned associate already with LegalShield, whether you're brand spanking new, you're getting started, whether you've never sold anything in your life before, this is a system that is so simple. I told someone yesterday, it's almost dumb, okay? So we're really breaking it down for you and making that super simple. So let me give you a little bit more insight, because I don't want you to think from the presentation this morning, oh, Jennifer, you were this successful real estate broker and that's how you're able to make $150,000 a year. That's really not how this happened, right? So when I came into the business, I shared with you before that I was looking for a plan B. I did not have a big expectation. When I looked at Mr. Larry Gregory, who sponsored me, who's a golf pro, who was making six figures, playing golf all the time, in my heart, I hoped that this was going to work for me. But at that moment, I really thought, hey, if I can make $300 or $400 just to get me started, then obviously that's going to be worth this initial investment. That will cover one of my insurances that I have to have as a real estate broker. And maybe one day, maybe just one day, I can turn this into something. So here's what happened. As I got started, the very first day I signed my agreement, which happened to be my birthday, the end of November 2009, again, during the midst of the Great Recession, Larry Gregory did my game plan interview with me. So if you are a new associate or you are a seasoned associate, you know what a game plan interview is. And in that game plan interview, obviously I wrote down my why, but I also decided to follow this system. Are we good? And in this very first 8 days of my business, I followed the system. I was very coachable. Whatever Mr. Gregory said, if he told me to stand on my head, I would have done it. But here's what happened, family. I went from associate to director in the very first 8 days of my business, okay? And the very first month of my business, I made about $3,500. I basically shared this opportunity with colleagues, with fellow real estate agents and mortgage brokers, because they were in the same position that I was in. They needed extra money. The market had crashed. They had clients that were asking a lot of questions. And so I basically shared this with 15 other people. 12 did something. 12 fast start qualified. And in that first 30 days, I made about $3,500. With that $3,500 check, what I realized was that that was my own money. There was no really business expenses coming out of it. And the reason I say that is because if you're a traditional business owner, then you understand that. As a real estate broker and owning my own firm, my marketing budget per year that I spent was over $100,000, okay? So I personally brought in almost $500,000 a year. And then I spent $100,000 a year just on traditional advertising and billboards, because that was a thing back then. And so I was really excited when I got that $3,500 check, realizing that no one was going to take anything out of it. There were no MLS fees, there were no realtor fees, there were no insurances coming out of it. It was my money. And so that obviously got me really, really excited. But I'm very grateful that I followed Mr. Gregory's coaching, because here's what happens sometimes. Life has a way of just smacking us in the face, okay? And I had this talk with Mr. Peden yesterday where we were sharing some information about one another. And what happened in my first 30 days, I alluded to you earlier this morning about my daughter having an MRI. But within the first 30 days of my business, my daughter, Layla, 18 months old, winds up getting sick. She winds up vomiting, projectile vomiting, and the doctors are thinking that it's, you know, a stomach issue, GI issue. Come to find out, she had a small lesion in her brain. And so within my first 30 days of the business, Layla actually had an emergency surgery on New Year's Eve. Moving forward, for 22 months, we fought a very rare brain and spinal cancer. And I literally lived between UNC Hospital and Boston, Massachusetts, right there at Mass General Hospital. So literally, I am in ICU rooms for sometimes 30 and 45 days at a time, okay? So now my life has changed. It's 2010. The real estate market has crashed so hard that I barely even bring in $80,000 in 2010 to cover my business expenses, which obviously did not cover business expenses. But here's what I learned real quickly. I learned that number one, I had a team. I had a business because I took heed. Number two, I had a membership, a product that I could share and sell that I believed that people needed. So that's what I did, from hospital rooms, from elevators, from hospital lobbies. I sustained our family. LegalShield paid for our grocery bill, and paid the light bill, and paid the cell phone bill, and paid our household income bills while everything was crashing down around me. Now, fast forward that, 2011, I was able to attend my first convention as ED. We had beat brain cancer twice. You know, I'm thinking that life is the best it's ever been. We're beating cancer. I got this business now that is now substantially feeding my family. And what happens is that my daughter's cancer comes back again, okay? And this time it came back with a vengeance. And we wound up searching the world for a cure, obviously. And we wound up actually, my daughter passed away in September of 2011. So here's what happened. You know, during that process of while my daughter's alive, it's real easy to sell LegalShield and meet people face to face. I lose my daughter and I decide that I can live anywhere, and I move to the beach. And I decide that I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna share this incredible good news with other real estate agents and other mortgage professionals down at the beach. And as I walk in to meet people, I start getting questions, you know, because people, once they like you, they want to get to know you. And I start getting questions of, hey, Jennifer, do you have children? And I'm sitting there going, what do I say? You know, because if I tell them that I just lost my daughter, I've just ruined their day. And it's very difficult at that point to transition to sharing this good news and actually making a sale so I can continue to eat, right? Because now, you know, again, I'm self-employed with another business and I still have to eat. If I told them that I had a daughter, then of course they wanted to see pictures, and that made things even more difficult. So here's what I figured out. What if I just go home? What if I go home and from my home office or my living room or my den, I start selling memberships from home? And this is where I actually came up with this system. And this system obviously now has created, you know, over $150,000 a year income. So I'm really excited to share that. As you see me on the leaderboards, a lot of times people automatically assume, well, you're B2B. Well, I am a hybrid associate. I am a rare associate. I do this business the entire wheel of opportunity, as Dave Savola, the great late Dave Savola used to say. So do I team build? Yes. Do I work with my team? Yes. Do I do B2B? Yes. Do I do network sales? Yes. Do I do law officer plans? Yes. Do I do CDLPs? Yes. Okay. There's no part of this business that I don't do. Okay. Small business plans, you name it. But what I'm recognized for are those network sales. Matter of fact, I've been very blessed to be listed as a Lady of Justice Award recipient. Matter of fact, I've been #2 for 4 years in a row, okay? Matter of fact, Mr. Russell Peden has #1, so congratulations for that. But it's exciting for me because I've always believed that every single person that I come in contact with or every single person that I know needs LegalShield and ID Shield. Okay, and I really take that charge to heart, which makes this very easy for me to share this with people. So I'm going to teach you that system. Before I go into that system, though, I really want to go over my 3 philosophies because this is really kind of the backbone of how I'm able to do this. And let me back up for just a minute. You know, when this whole pandemic happened and, you know, I've been in quarantine now or lockdown mode, whatever we want to call it. I've been home safe with my family since March the 12th, okay? When all of this hit me, really what kind of made me chuckle is #1, I have to be honest with you. I was very grateful that I was no longer in the real estate business. And there's nothing wrong with being in the real estate business, but I'm glad that I wasn't relying on that as my bread and butter. I was so thankful that I took LegalShield and I treated it like a business. And now I'm sitting here, you know, going into a multi-6-figure income and obviously working with some of the most incredible people in the universe. And it's incredible to be able to rub elbows with like-minded people. But here's the thing. I chuckled because, you know, I do work in the B2B division. So I had been on the road and I'm coming home and I just chuckle and say, okay, well, I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to log myself back into my office, which is where I'm at right now, my den, which is my office, and I'm going to sell memberships and team build, and this is what I typically do, okay? So I kind of just chuckled and said, hey, there's nothing wrong with this. I'm going to stock up at the grocery store. We're going to have plenty of food, and we're just going to do this and continue to build this business. So if you're in that situation right now where you're thinking, what do? I need to make some extra cash. And maybe at this point, you were using LegalShield as a part-time, spare time income gig. Maybe you've been furloughed and you need to bump that. You need to bump your income. You need your LegalShield income to grow. Then that's what I'm going to teach you today. Okay. Now, on these 3 philosophies, #1, having the right attitude or mindset is as we all know, you know, a bad attitude is like having a flat tire. You're going nowhere until you change it, right? You know, in speaking with that mindset, you know, I want to share with you also, you know, kind of my own personal philosophy. So a lot of times people look at me and they're like, Jennifer, you lost your daughter. How in the world do you do this? How do you handle this? And it's all mindset. First of all, I'm not mad at anyone. You know, I told Mr. Peden yesterday, if there's anyone that you want to be mad at, it's Adam and Eve, okay? Adam and Eve are the ones who ruined this for us. I'm not mad at God for having to give my daughter back. But I do look at this as a charge that God chose me to be legal on. God chose me, okay? Out of everybody he could have chosen, he chose me to be her mom and to be her advocate. And he also blessed me with the 3 best years of my life. And, you know, I know that may sound crazy, but anyone who is a parent understands that love and that burning fire and that love that is like no other. And I'm so happy that I got to experience that. So that is my attitude and my mindset, okay? That's why I'm not in a corner, you know, I still, you know, shivering with grief over what happened, because I understand everyone has a journey and this happens to be my journey, okay? Have you ever been around people, though, that always have a black cloud over their head and it's like they can't shake it? They have the worst luck. And then you meet people who you're just, they're positive and energetic, and it's like they always get the lucky breaks. You know, why is their life so great and maybe mine's not? it all has to do back again with attitude and mindset and the law of attraction, okay? And if you're not familiar with the law of attraction, you can actually just go on Pinterest. There's some incredible information there. But with the law of attraction, whatever you put out is what you're bringing back to you. So unfortunately, if you're talking about your problems, you're creating more problems, okay? If you're complaining, oh, I don't mean to complain, but you're in victim mode and this is what's going on with you, unfortunately, you're gonna be stuck there, okay? Let me tell you how important the law of attraction is. And this may sound a little funny, but I think this is important going into my training. So I always close with the end in mind, you know, so anytime that I'm sharing our membership with someone in my head, I already believe, know they want it, they need it, we're going to close something, okay? So that's really how I start. But back last summer, when I got a $100,000 ring, you know, I had mapped everything out. I'm a numbers person. I have a math degree. I mapped everything out. And, you know, things are happening quite the way that I want. You know, it's like I'm off this day, I'm off this day. And I had set this goal of getting my ring in Cabo. And we get to Cabo and I'm off a few days. And we get back home and I've mapped it back out again of where I'm going to be at. And anyways, I don't quite have the day that I was expecting or that I was wanting. And so, matter of fact, you know, I had chased it a few days, and that night I go to bed and I basically have this conversation with God, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not chasing this ring anymore. I'm not ring chasing. I'm going to just attract it. So the next morning, I get back up and, you know, I'm getting ready to do my follow-ups and go after, you know, this ring, attracting this ring. Anyways, my doorbell rings, and it is the power company. And they are informing me that they are going to shut down the power for 5 to 6 hours while they put in a new transformer, okay? And they just wanted to give me a heads up. And I'm immediately thinking, well, you know, what in the world am I going to do now? Because my laptop is obviously going to go dead during...
Jennifer, real quick, is the audio is off a little bit. Can you turn off your camera? That may help with the bandwidth. But just during your training part, you may need to turn your camera off.
Are we good? Are we better now?
It's just that it was garbled. If you can maybe turn your camera off, that'll help with bandwidth.
Jen, do you have your cell phone near your laptop or something for some reason? You are garbling up, but then it gets better, then it gets bad. Sometimes the cell phone interferes with the Wi-Fi.
How are we now?
Yeah, let's keep trying. Let's see how that goes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Mr. Peden. Yeah, let me know. Okay. So anyways, long story short, the power company comes and lets me know that they're going to shut my power off for 5 or 6 hours. And I go next door to let my neighbor know, who's 90 years old. And when I come back, LegalShield Corporate has called me to tell me that I've earned the $100,000 ring. Okay. So here was the law of attraction. I decided I'm going to attract the ring. Okay. And as soon as I did that, I changed my mindset. I had earned the ring and didn't even know it, okay? So it really matters with whatever we focus on is what's gonna happen, okay? Number 2, let's talk about warm market versus cold market, because I have a lot of people that are like, oh, I don't wanna go with my warm market. I'm gonna teach you today how to make a cold market warm, okay? And we're gonna do that through referrals. But here's what I want you to understand. Going after a cold market to get started in this business is going to be way too time consuming, because unfortunately those people are not going to want to are actually not going to want to do business with you until they know, like, and trust you. And unfortunately, that just takes way too much time, okay? So we're going to talk about the warm market. Next, let's talk about the daily disciplines and the slight edge philosophy. You know, Jim Rohn said it absolutely best. He said an apple a day keeps the doctor away. However, eating 7 apples on Sunday doesn't have the same effect.
Connection is really bad.
Okay. All right, let me stop my video.
Just turn your camera off. Yeah, let's try.
I did. Are we good now? How are we now? Are we better? Are we good now?
Well, just keep talking and then we can see.
All right, so on the daily disciplines, you know, what I want to share with you is Jim Rohn. Are we good, Mr. Peden?
For now, we'll see, Jen.
Okay. All right. So Jim Rohn says it best, you know, that You know, eating an apple a day keeps the doctor away. However, eating 7 apples on Sunday does not have the same effect, okay? And so it really matters what you do daily. And with that being said, small actions lead to big results. So if you are part-time spare time because you're busy, you know, I've got a lady that is on our team that is awesome. She works multiple jobs, she's full-time in school, and she works her business in 15-minute intervals. Guess what? That's perfectly okay, but you can't make up for those at the end of the week, okay? You got to do every single day. My daily discipline, I am so regimented, just so you understand, that I don't let anyone take anything away from me out of my production. In my mind, that is like taking food off of my table, okay? So I start every morning out, you know, even in quarantine, I'm up by 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm drinking my coffee, I'm immediately looking into my back office. So I already know premium dollars, admissions, and things like that. By 9 o'clock, I'm ready to start making dials. I'm ready to start making phone calls. On Mondays, I work from 9 a.m. until 7 o'clock at night. If I'm not quite there where I want to be on my production goals, then I work till 9 o'clock at night, okay? That's my long day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I typically work from 9 until 6, okay, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And if I hit my goal, if I hit my premium production goal that week, then Friday is my time, okay, that's my free time. Right now, since we're in quarantine, and I think things are really important right now to take advantage of things, then typically I'm working team building on Fridays, okay? But Monday through Thursday, I don't do anything to mess up my production. So what this means is if I need to go to the grocery store, I do it in the morning at 7 o'clock. If my dog has to go to the vet, I'm scheduled a 7 or 8 o'clock appointment with the vet. When I'm able to get my hair done, it's typically done on the first day of the month, only Friday at all possible. So I'm not affecting any of that production, okay? Because it's so easy to get wrapped up in that everyday life. And now what's happened is it's exhausted your entire week, and you're sitting on Sunday trying to eat those 7 apples, okay? So we're going to do that. So let's take each day at a time. If your schedule is permitting you to work your LegalShield business where you're not full-time, go ahead and still open that calendar. Even if you're at home working your traditional job, okay, and you've got time slots that you're working LegalShield, make sure that no one takes those time slots away from you. That's yours. So if your best friend is having a crisis and needs to talk, just say, hey, look, I'll have to call you tonight after 7 o'clock. I'm so sorry, I'm in production. And it's really funny because once you get your mindset that way, you train your friends and family on how to do it. I even trained my puppy dog, you know, not to bring a toy, squeaking a toy until after 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's amazing because, you know, everyone learns that. They even learn when you're pushing into the month goals, they know not to bother you. So, you know, you're the one who's in control. You are your own CEO. So I just kind of want to share that with you. Also, with those daily disciplines, I think it's really important to know what are your personal production goals. You know, whether you're recruiting, whether you're selling memberships, whatever, what are you going to bring to the team? What are you going to bring to the table? Me personally, I'm in a place right now where my goal is 75 premium dollars a day, Monday through Thursday. I do that 4 days a week, and that's going to give me over $1,400 in premium, okay? And, you know, I've got that one in the bag. I've had that in the bag a long time. So I qualify ED on my own, okay? And that's just me personally. That's my personal goal. When I got started doing this system, another reason for the system was that I could not control what my team was doing. You know, this is a volunteer army, so I couldn't hold a gun to someone's head. And sometimes, unfortunately, I think that we can want something for someone better than what they wanted. So that being said, I knew that if I did, at that time we were on counters, if I did 7 sales a week, okay, which now obviously if you take 7 times 25, you know, if I'm doing X amount of dollars in premium, I'm going to hit my $700 in premium that I need to qualify for ED, you know, my 750 premium, whatever that needs to be. So that's kind of how this process started. I love to challenge myself and keep pushing my goals. So those goals change, and I grow with them. So as soon as I'm able to master one goal, then I start working towards the next goal and continue inching up on that. And then I've done $11,000 in premium for the year so far for 2020. Okay, so those are my 3 philosophies. Let's get into the nitty gritty because I know you're here to learn how we did this. So let's talk about the system and learning the system. So I shared with you before that this system is for everyone. So if you're like Mr. Peden and you've been in the business 27 years and you're a veteran associate and you have a great team, you may still want to increase your premium dollars because under business builders, if you've got those 20 plus recruits as a executive director, you're now going to get 100% of your network premium, right? So what that means, and Mr. Peden's shaking his head yes, so what that means is if everyone is putting in that effort and boosting their premium dollars, in the long run, not only will you make more money, okay, but you're also going to make more bonus money, okay? I also want to say one more thing before I get started. Residual is residual is residual. I think sometimes we forget that our own personal production, we get paid on those memberships year after year after year. So yes, we wear these t-shirts that say, I love residual income. Residual income can also be your personal production. Leveraged income is when you build a large team. And yes, that's fantastic too. Residual is residual. All right, so let's get into the system. And to start with, I want to talk to our seasoned associates. However, if you're brand spanking new and you're just getting started, I really want for you to also pay close attention to this because this system is going to, I'm going to continue to the past, to the veteran associate, seasoned associate, all the way to the new associate. So make sure that you take notes so we can continue working on this together, okay? Also, I really want to acknowledge one of my favorite quotes since this whole pandemic started. We all know who Grant Cardone is. Obviously, he's come and done some of our trainings at LegalShield. Incredible entrepreneur and speaker and motivator. Grant Cardone says, never waste a crisis, okay? So this is nothing, obviously, I have empathy for the people right now that are sick or have passed away, and my heart goes out to those people. But we're in a position right now, which reminds me very much of where I was in 2009, but this situation is probably a lot worse, to be honest with you. We're in a place right now where 16.6 million people are out of work. They're unemployed, okay? With that being said, people have the most legal questions that they've ever had. They're scared. They have employment law questions. What happens if I'm furloughed? They have mortgage questions. What happens if I defer my mortgage? And all these things are rattling in their head. So let me explain something to you. Right now, you are the beacon of hope to your friends and family members. You are a beacon of hope to your past clients, okay? Through this crisis, I'm going to talk with you how I've changed the system around and how I'm narrowing in on this situation that we're all in with this COVID-19. And the reason I'm doing that is because LegalShield Corporate has created the most amazing coronavirus resource center. And I have this link here. I wasn't able to get the link to work for you guys, but all you've got to do is go into your Prospect app. Underneath share links and resources, you're going to see your own link that you can share with friends or family members, and it will look very similar to what my link looks like up here. This document is a live document. I am so proud of it. It is updated every single day Are we still good on sound, Mr. Peden? And if you'll give me a thumbs up.
Yeah, it's breaking up every now and then, but just keep at it. And if we don't, we're getting the bulk of your training, so just keep it up. It's great.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so the situation is that the Coronavirus Resource Center is a layered document. It's updated by our law firms that we pay hundreds of millions of dollars to every single day. And it's a beautiful document that we can be so proud of as a $2 billion company that we are, okay? So this is a document that I want to share with my clients, okay? So anyone who's seasoned right now, you can actually go into your back office under reports. You can pull your active member report, and you can obviously see their cell phone number, their home number, and you can call them. I think it's so important right now to reach out to people. I think the human touch is phenomenal. So let me explain something to you. I don't want you to take this resource center and email it and blast it out to all of your past clients. And the reason for that is because it's passive marketing and it doesn't work. So when I started the real estate business, my broker in charge basically gave me 1,000 postcards and said, Jennifer, send out these 1,000 postcards to all your friend and family members, letting them know that you're in the real estate business. Out of those 1,000 postcards, I basically had one person that called me, okay? That's passive marketing. Active marketing in the real estate business was when I went and knocked on your door, okay? And you were for sale by owner, and I did my dog and pony show, and I had an opportunity to get to know you. Active marketing works. I had a 50-50 shot every single time I knocked on one of those doors. The same thing happens here. So we're going to reach out to our past client, and instead of reaching out to our past client and doing things like, hey, you know, I know you have LegalShield. Would you like to add ID Shield? Or I know you have a combo plan. Do you want to add our gun owner plan? Or do you need a home business supplement? Instead of doing that, let's really bring an incredible resource that adds value to our clients. This also is going to help your retention rate, because the client, if they were juggling their expenses and they're starting to cut down what they're spending on, they're going to keep their LegalShield. If they were thinking about maybe getting rid of that expense right now because they were thinking about not using it, this resource center is going to be an incredible reminder of why they need LegalShield right now, okay? So I've included some scripts for you, and I'm going to go through these slides now pretty quickly, but I've got these scripts for you so you can see how this works. So let's say I sold Sally a membership a couple years ago. I'm just going to reach out to her, and if I was going to start making phone calls, I would start mid-morning, 10-ish or so, and I would continue to call those until the evening, till about 7 o'clock. So, hi Sally, this is Jennifer McClafferty. I'm so glad I called you. How are you? And I'm going to listen, whatever she says. Okay, great. I'm glad that you're safe and sound. I'm calling you is because LegalShield has put together an incredible resource called the Coronavirus Resource Center to help our families by answering most of the pressing questions that we all have right now. This is a live document. It's updated by our law firms nationwide, and I'd like to send you the information. Do you prefer text or email? So she's telling me how to send her the information. Okay, great. Will you do me a favor? If you think of any friends or family members that could benefit from this info, will you just text me their contact info? I would like to reach out to them, okay? And so that's how I've handled that. I am now going to send Sally this information. She's asked me to text her. I'm going to text her that link. Now, I don't want just a blind link. I'm going to add something like, hey, Sally, this is Jennifer with LegalShield. Here is the Coronavirus Resource Center information I was telling you about. Please let me know if you have any friends or family members that might need this information. I appreciate you. Now what I'm going to do is in 2 business days, I'm going to text or email Sally back. Okay, if she asks me to email her the information, then I'm gonna do the same thing. Or I may just go ahead and text her. But I'm gonna follow up, and I'm going to follow up in 2 business days. And the reason I'm waiting 2 business days is because we have no idea what day it is anymore, okay? We're on Facebook, we're seeing things all the time like, you know, instead of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's this day, that day, the other day. Days are going together and it's a blur, okay? So if I text Sally the information, I want to give her the appropriate time to take a look at it. And again, we're not in our normal world of things right now. In 2 business days, I'm going to text Sally just something really simple. Hey, Sally, it's Jennifer McClafferty, just checking in. Did you find the Coronavirus Resource Center information valuable? And I'm going to wait for her response. And she's going to say, okay, you know, she's going to say, yep, I did. It's great. Then I'm going to say, okay, awesome. I'm so glad. Do you have any friends or family members that you feel like would benefit from that info? And she immediately comes back and says, yes, I sure do. I'm going to want to know who these people are. You know, is Tom her neighbor, her brother, you know, and I'm going to get that information. And then I'm just going to text back and say, hey, you know, what state does Tom live in? Or what state does Julie live in? And the reason that's important is because I don't want to call someone that may be in a licensed state that I'm not licensed in, and I need to know what to do with that, okay? Also, I want to know, do they text? So for example, my dad does not text. So if I'm contacting a friend or family member that doesn't text, I need to know that because obviously I'm going to handle that a little bit differently. Now, Sally gives me Tom. So now I'm going to reach out to Tom, who is a referral. So this has come from Sally, and I'm going to give Tom a call. And I'm going to say, hey, Tom, this is Jennifer McClafferty. Your sister Sally asked that I reach out to you and share some information. And he's going to be like, yeah, Sally told me you would be touching base. Okay, great. I wanted to send you a link to our Coronavirus Resource Center. This is a live document. It's free of charge, and it's updated daily by our nationwide network of law firms. This document's answering many of the questions that we're facing today, and Sally thought you would find the information useful. Would you prefer text or email? Okay, and so again, I'm following the same system that I did with Sally, okay? So I'm gonna send him the Coronavirus Resource Center, which again is that layered document, but also notice that I said this is a live document and it's free of charge. So I let him know that it's free of charge because I don't want them to think that they've got to pay for something, and I want them to go ahead and open it. So if Tom asks me to send an email, I'm going to again customize that email just to make it friendly. You know, hey, Tom, this is the information that your sister Sally asked me to share with you. It's the Coronavirus Resource Center. It's a live link, and it's updated daily by our nationwide network of law firms. What I'm actually doing, folks, is I am doing nothing more than being a beacon of hope, sharing information, sharing a resource, okay? And so that's obviously super simple, but I'm also building credibility, okay? I'm building incredible credibility. They're able to go in there and see that information. And now I'm not getting the question of, what does a $25 a month law firm look like? Because they're seeing this beautiful document that's updated every single day by our law firms, and it is a live document, okay? So now I have emailed this information to Tom. This system is what I use every single day for referrals. I never run out of clients to talk to. I never run out of people to touch base with. And now it's become warm. And the reason that it's warm is because I know you from Sally. See, people will work with us if they know, like, and trust you. So as long as I don't act goofy or too strange or too weird or get weird, they're going to like me, okay? And they know me from Sally, and now they're going to start trusting me based off the information that I'm telling them, okay? I'm giving them a free document. It's completely free. I'm emailing them just as they asked me to. And so I'm building that trust factor. As a matter of fact, you know, this information is also in the book that I shared in Nashville a couple years ago from stage on one of our trainings. But it is Todd Duncan's book, High Trust Selling, okay? And it's about building that trust through that relationship. So I'm going to now follow back up with Tom in 2 business days, okay? And I'm going to text Tom and say, hey, Tom, this is Jennifer McClafferty with LegalShield, just following up. Did you find the information on the Coronavirus Resource Center valuable? So now I'm going from passive marketing to active marketing. Okay, awesome. Glad I could help. Would you like me to send you the LegalShield and ID Shield video? Wait a second. We just went active. He's going to say, sure. I'm going to say, okay, great. When would be a good time that I can follow up with you and answer your questions? He says Monday, 10 o'clock. Okay, perfect. The video is wehelppeople.info. So let me share a little bit of information of why I do this system. First of all, could I actually get on the phone with Tom and go through the features and benefits? Yes, I just did that this morning on our open house presentation. But a picture is worth 1,000 words. I would much rather send a video, plus this is saving time. How many more people can I touch just by sending out this information, okay? Next, notice, okay, someone to give me a black eye for this, but notice I'm not sending prospect information, okay? This is just my personal system. I'm sending a text message, okay? I'm controlling the information because I have a follow-up Monday at 10 o'clock, okay? I'm not real concerned, me personally, when he opens it, when he watches it, when he reads it, because I have a follow-up at 10 o'clock. I also personally choose to use wehelppeople.info because I like this presentation. Larry Smith and Michael Dorsey have done this presentation, and you know, Michael Dorsey is really, really low key. He earns $800,000 in the company per year. You know, he's not rah-rah. And in this case, I'm being a beacon of hope. I'm sharing this information. I personally just like that I like this presentation. I also like the fact that it goes over both LegalShield and ID Shield. Okay, so I sell combos 99% of the time. 99% of the time, I'm selling a LegalShield and ID Shield membership combined, okay, which obviously boosts my premium, and that's how I did $4,200 in premium in February. Now, at 10 o'clock, I'm going to now follow up with Tom, and I'm going to use the 3-question close, okay, which obviously is so simple, but it really, really works. So I'm going to call Tom and say, hey, Tom, this is Jennifer McClafferty. How are you? Look, thank you so much for taking a look at the LegalShield and ID Shield video. Please tell me, what did you like best? And he tells me. And in that one question, I know whether or not Tom is interested in LegalShield and ID Shield or just one or the other. Because he says, well, Jennifer, I really like the legal plan. I have some questions I want to get answered. I really like the identity theft because I think that's rampant right now and I want to protect my family. Boom, he's already fallen into my lap, okay? Number 2. Tom, do you see any reason why someone would not want to protect the ones that they love most? Well, no. Tom, would you like to go ahead and get enrolled today? It only takes a couple of minutes, and you're going to go ahead and get your app for your phone app links, so that way you can begin using your plans right away. He goes, yeah, let's get started. I'm going to immediately take a paper app, and I know we all love technology, but here's what's going on in my household. My husband teaches school. He's a school teacher. He's on his laptop. All the kids in my neighborhood are on their Google Chromebooks. Internet is bad, which may be why I'm breaking up right now, okay? Internet's bad. I'm not going to pull up the information and start trying to type it in, and I now have to ask Tom for his credit card 3 times over. I also don't want to send him a share link to do his own cart, and now I'm chasing Tom for 3 weeks down the road to see if he's done it yet. I'm not in the business of chasing people. So I take the app, I punch it in, okay, or get ready to punch it in. I take the app and I'll say, okay, Tom, you're going to get these welcome emails in just a couple of minutes. It's going to welcome you to LegalShield and ID Shield. You're going to be able to download your phone apps. If you have any questions or you don't see those phone apps, go ahead and give me a call and I'll walk you through that. Also, you came to me from Sally. Okay, do you have a friend or family member right now that you believe might have some of the same questions that you have, and maybe they want to get their wills done, or maybe they have college students and teenage drivers and they would like to talk to an attorney and get some legal advice without having to pay an arm and a leg? And he's going to go ahead and give me some names and numbers, and then obviously I'm going to be following up with those people. So that's the system. Let's talk about what we do really quickly with prospects. This is not a past client. We're not getting started with a past client. This is what we're doing. We're going back to our list. So let's say, for example, you know, I've got friends that are in the B2B world, and they're telling me right now, I've been in B2B for 5 years. I'm a top producer. I make multiple six figures, but I've never shared this with my friends and family. If I start sharing with them now, are they going to be offended? Absolutely not. Let's look at the script. Hey, Sally, it's Jennifer McClafferty. How are you? Okay, wonderful. I'm so glad you guys are safe and sound. As you know, because Sally and I are friends, as you know, I'm normally on the road, but I wanted to make sure that my friends and family have access to the resources that I've enjoyed throughout the years. My company, LegalShield, has produced an amazing resource center. It's updated by our law firms nationwide. And this document, it's a live document, and it answers so many of the questions we're having right now. It's completely free of charge, but I wanted to see if you want that information through text or if you'd like me to send it through email. Okay, great. Do me a favor. If you think of anyone that might benefit from this information, will you just text me their names and numbers so that I can follow up with them? Now, we've just gone through my system. So I had this conversation with Sally. I hang up the phone. I text message her the information. What is the system? I'm going to wait 2 business days, okay? So if I share it with Sally on a Saturday, which normally I would do it on a Monday. If I talk with Sally on a Monday, I'm going to follow up with Sally on Wednesday, okay? I'm going to text Sally. Hey, Sally, it's Jennifer McClafferty, or it's Jennifer. I just wanted to check in. Did you find the Coronavirus Resource Center helpful? Okay, awesome. Would you like me to send you the video on LegalShield and ID Shield? She says yes. When would be a good time that I can follow up and ask you a few questions? Noticing I'm asking her questions. I'm not telling her she's going to ask me. I want to follow up and ask you a few questions. Okay, great. I'll call you Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. Here's the video. I'm not sending out any of that information. If you're a big recruiter like Mr. Peden, and maybe you've got some friends or family that you never got around to sharing this with, okay, go back. Hey, I know that you know I'm a top recruiter with LegalShield. I'm normally team building and searching for talent, but I wanted to make sure that my friends and family have access to the resources that I've enjoyed throughout the years, or I've benefited from throughout the years. And Mr. Peden he's getting this right now. My company, LegalShield, has produced an amazing resource center that's updated daily by our nationwide network of law firms. So again, I'm going to send that out. So whether you're in B2B, whether you're a top recruiter, go ahead and hit that nail on the head that, hey, they know your life has changed too. You're now working from home. They know your life has changed. So go ahead and use that script. What are you going to do? You're going to give them 2 business days. You're going to follow back up with them, and you're going to say, hey, Sally, it's Jennifer. I just want to check in. Did you find the information on the Coronavirus Resource Center to be valuable? Question mark. She answers, I did. Awesome. I'm so glad I could help. Would you like me to send you the video on LegalShield and ID Shield? Yes. When would be a good time that I can follow up with you and answer those questions? So let's run and say, okay, You're brand new. You're just getting started and you're scared. You're scared to death because you've never been in the sales field. That is perfectly okay. Okay. Maybe you're in a position that right now you just started this business because you were just furloughed and you need to feed your family. How are you going to do this? Super easy. Hey, Sally, this is Jennifer McClafferty. Look, I'm so glad I caught you. How are you? Okay, great. I'm so glad that you're safe and sound. I don't know if you've heard yet, but I've been furloughed by my company. And so I joined this amazing opportunity and this other company that's helping a lot of people right now. And they've produced a live document that I just found awesome. It's updated daily by our nationwide network of law firms, and it's answering a lot of the questions we have right now. It's called the Coronavirus Resource Center. It's completely free, and I'd like to send this information to you to see if it helps your family as it did mine. Okay, great. Would you like me to send it to you by text or email? Okay. Also, Sally, do me a huge favor. Right now, we're helping a lot of people, and I want to be able to help more. When you take a look at this information, if you think of anyone that might could benefit from this information, can I please, will you please send me the text of their name and number? And I want to be able to reach out to them and share the same information. So Neil, Sally's going to take a look at the information. You just got started. There's nothing scary. You didn't strong arm anyone. You're just being that beacon of light. Does that make sense? All right. So does everyone have this slide? I'm going to keep moving. Okay. All right. So let's say you're in a situation where you say, you know what? I'm not scared of sales. I am brand new. Instead of sitting in the Coronavirus Resource Center and waiting 2 days, I want to move faster, Jennifer. What do I do? Super easy. Hey, Tom, how are you? I'm so glad I caught you. I don't know if you heard, but I was furloughed last week, but I'm super excited. I've joined an amazing 45-year-old company, and as part of my training, I need 10 people to take a look at a 12-minute video. Would you be one of my 10? Well, what is it? Well, that's why I need you to look at the video. Yeah, look at it. Okay, awesome. When's a good time that I can follow up with you and ask you a few questions? Okay, great. Monday at 10 o'clock. I appreciate that so much, Tom. The video is, and we're going to type it out, wehelppeople.info. Tom, I'll touch base with you at 10 o'clock on Monday. Thanks again. Okay, so I'm ripping the Band-Aid off. I'm making this super quick. But again, I've got a follow-up appointment with Tom already scheduled, and Tom's looking at that video, wehelppeople.com, which is obviously going to sell the membership for me. I don't have to sell it. I don't have to talk about it. Now, what happens when the coronavirus is over? Well, first of all, we have no idea how long this is going to last. And even if our states do start opening back up, you know, there's even been talk that we could have a relapse and we could go back into lockdown again if that happens. So there's going to be aftermath to happen. Understand that even when this is over, people are going to still have legal needs. Prior to the coronavirus, 57% of all Americans had an ongoing legal problem. They just didn't talk to you about it, okay? I can tell you, though, with people having issues with making mortgage payments and car payments and issues with college students and things like that, they need us more than ever. That even when this is over, this is a script I use without the Coronavirus Resource Center. Super simple. Hey, Sally, this is Jennifer McClafferty. Notice I'm always friendly, but I'm always moving fast because people like to buy from busy people. Hey, Sally, how are you? Okay, good. I'm so glad things are going well. Well, look, I just wanted to send you some information about what I do. You may or may not be interested, but you may know some folks that we can help. If I sent you a quick video, would you watch it for me? Okay, great, awesome. When's a good time I can follow up with you and ask you a few questions? Okay, great. Now here I'm asking for referrals on the front end. Do me a favor. Will you jot down any friends' names and numbers that you feel would benefit from these services? That way when I follow up with you, I'll get that information from you. You see what I just did? They're no longer, I'm not sitting there at the, you know, I hear them wrapping up their sale, and now I am getting them off guard, asking them about who their referrals are going to be, I'm going ahead up front and hitting that. Hey, do me a favor. Will you jot down any friends' names and numbers that you feel would benefit from these services? Okay, awesome. I'll text you the video. So I'm going to text the video with a time that we already agreed to follow up, okay? When I follow up, what am I going to do? The 3-question close. Hey, Sally, what did you like best? She tells me, I agree with it. Sally, do you see any reason why someone would not want to protect the ones that they love most? Okay. 3rd question. Sally, would you like to go ahead and get started? It only takes about a minute, and you'll go ahead and get your emails with your phone app link so you can go ahead and download your phone apps and start using your LegalShield and ID Shield right away. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so there's the system. The end. We made it. One of my favorite quotes, give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, and you feed him a lifetime. So I really hope that I will be feeding you a lifetime with this training. Let's all go fishing. And thank you so very much for having me and giving me the opportunity to share this with you.
Woo! All right, good stuff. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Matter of fact, Ms. Simone, if you're able to mute everyone for a moment, Ms. Simone, if we can mute, we want to give her, let's give Ms. McClafferty a round of applause. Let's see if we can get her muted. Mute everyone.
Hey, that was